Yan, kasama po natin ngayon ang El Presidente of course, a man of many talents, an artist, a musician, a singer and host, and of course a comedian who has been doing some very fantastic stuff in terms of raising political awareness sa ating bansa by using its cultural capital. Of course, dito sa mga usapin natin, kasama natin usually yung mga ambassadors, cabinet secretaries, and mga others. But in the past few days or so, try natin mag-reach out also to our friends in the creative industry. So kasama po natin si Vincent Tanyada, the director of Katips the other week. Ngayon naman, kasama po natin kaibigan natin si Sir Janno Gibbs. Kamusta, sir? Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Richard. Nice. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure joining you finally. Alam ko medyo siguro antok ka rin yata, Batman ka rin pala paras tayo.
Medyo.
I'm a little bit under the weather also. So siguro
I know.
Hindi tayo kasing hyper as usual, but I'll try to be as coherent as possible and get through this. Now, Janno, a lot of my followers ay mga Gen Z, no, or mga younger millennials. You're a very well-known let's say commodity as far as the creative industry is concerned. But for the purpose of our younger audience, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? How did you get into the industry, and how did you branch out into so many fields? No, sabay-sabay. You sing, you're a comedian, you're an actor, among others. If a little bit of background, I really appreciate that, Janno.
Basically, I came from a big showbiz family. From my mother's side, it's the Ilagan clan, which includes Robert Arevalo, Jay Ilagan, Barbara Perez, Liberty Ilagan. Plus, my grandfather is Jerry De Leon. He's a national artist for directing.
Right. So it's kind of a inherited talent in some ways. But paano niya man nahanap yung sarili mong niche?
Of course, my dad, no? Of course, my dad, Ronaldo. Yeah.
Pero paano nahanap yung sarili niyong niche, no? I mean, is this something that you felt from childhood? Is something you want to enter? I mean, you were a teen star also, no?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Paano nahanap yung talagang calling mo, yung niche mo?
Yeah, when I was of age na and I was aware of what my dad was doing, I would constantly bug him about being in his movies. Sama mo naman ako sa movies mo kahit extra lang, so as early as that, I wanted to go into showbiz already. Then I came into Kuya Germs, rest in peace, got me for That's Entertainment, and that's what started my journey.
Yeah, so there's a Kuya Germs connection also, no?
Yeah.
Isco and a lot of other artists, etc. Now, you do a lot of things, no? At the same time, you do music, you do comedy, you do acting. How did you get to do all of these things na sabay-sabay at a very high quality? Of course, anyone can try to do everything sabay-sabay. Pero kayo po kasi
Thank you.
Quite do it at a very high quality. How do you refine yung craft mo and to make sure that you can be at your best in each of these fields that demand different kinds of talent?
Kasi I consider myself some are just actors, some are just singers. So I'd like to consider myself an artist.
Right.
So I just bring myself into everything I do. So may it be singing or comedy or I'm not actually funny in person. I'm not the life of the party. But I'm an actor who can, I can make faces and whatever the scene calls for. So, yun.
So, iba yung off-stage sa on-stage mo. So, parang showtime. Ganun ba yan? Is that you put me on stage and then I go showtime. Pero ganun, introvert ako.
Yes. I think I can speak for most of comedians.
Right.
Most of us are serious in person. Like Vic Soto is really
Right.
serious in person. So, ayun.
Yes. Can you speak a little bit louder, Janno, para lang marinig tayo ng mga tao? Sorry about that. I know
Yeah,
medyo,
yeah.
but I'll push you a little bit more on that. Now, obviously, the context of us coming together is because we share a similar passion. No? Ating passion natin, gusto natin medyo maayos yung bansa natin. No? Of
Yes.
course, we have bashers, haters, people accusing us of partisanship, etc. But I know, and I can relate to that as an educator myself. You're doing this because you feel as a Filipino, you have an obligation to the country. And of course, the thing, Janno, is that you have a lot of cultural capital. I mean, you celebrities, you artists have a lot of cultural capital. Us journalists, academics, we have been using our intellectual capital a lot in the past 5 or 6 years with certain failures and certain success. But a question I always ask was, kamusta naman yung mga ating mga celebrities who also have a lot of following, a lot of supporters, etc. At in fairness naman, nakita ko over the past 2 years or so, especially during the election period, medyo nagiging more proactive, especially yung mga taong katulad nyo. Can you tell me a little bit about this? Am I being unfair na hindi siguro ganun ka-politically oriented ang ating mga celebrities in the past and that changed recently? Or am I being correct? And perhaps you think this is some good development and we can move in that direction? Kasi Janno, I mean, tignan mo sa America, sa Hollywood, grabe yung Oscars, di ba? Binabash yung presidente, di ba? I mean, of course, in the case of Trump.
Yeah.
But this has been happening for a long time. Marami silang woke, activist, progressive, also pro, Republican, pro-Trump actors, etc. So in the US, which inspires us in a lot of ways for the better or for worse.
Right.
Meron tayong ganun tradisyon eh. Para sa Pilipinas, hindi masyado. Can you tell me your views about that?
It's I can't blame celebrities here.
Exactly.
You can't blame celebrities here for not being so vocal. It's we're not as rich as Hollywood stars. Malayo ang sweldo namin.
Right.
The work is not always there.
Right.
It's scarce actually. So yun, they're just being safe for livelihood reasons.
Right. So may aspect ito ng employment security? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Economic security? I understand that. And then, but what about the culture? The sense that, maybe this is derogatory, but some people will say, well, I mean, artista ka naman. Anong alam mo sa politika?
Yeah, yes.
Alam dito, diba? There's also that, no? Which of course
I get that a lot.
I disagree with. I think every citizen has a say, and especially marami sa inyo, napaka-edukado, napaka-creative, napaka-talinong tao. But can you tell me also about that?
Yeah. I get that a lot. Na artista ka lang, what are you doing about, what are you talking about politics for? Stick to your specialty, ganon, no? And we followed you, meron pa ako nakukuha, we followed your social media because we like your singing, we like your acting and stuff. But because I think because we have the following, I think that comes with a responsibility to use that platform, that following for good use, for for the good of the country.
Sir Janno, let me get a little bit more sensitive on this. I mean, the journalism world, the academic world has been under assault for quite some time. But I think a lot of our friends dun sa creative industry, medyo they had a moment of truth nung nangyari sa ABS-CBN, diba? And not to mention, of course, nangyari sa other media outlets like Rappler, etc. Do you think that was a kind of a big wake-up call? Namulatan yung iba? Do you think the ABS-CBN event, the shutting down of and denial of the franchise was a big factor in making some of the actors and artists more politically oriented or politically vocal?
Yes, yes, definitely. That was may chilling effect,
Right.
di ba? Sabi nga nila. So definitely that was the start of bigger reactions from celebrities. Ako even I must be I have to be honest.
Please, please go ahead.
I don't have a good standing with ABS.
Mhm.
We've had our miscommunications,
Right.
but I still supported them in their plight.
Right, right. Kasi solidarity yun, di ba? I mean, this goes beyond personal relations. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, just to be also, transparent, I also used to be a resident analyst with ABS-CBN before I moved to GMA Network. No, so I mean, I think, and I saw many of my colleagues in GMA Network and others also showing solidarity nung nangyari yung situation na yan. But
yeah,
of course, we don't want to get too much into it kasi may legal, political issues na yan. But
yeah.
and then of course election comes, no? 2022 elections comes.
Yeah.
Then we see more and more celebrities and actors gravitating towards certain candidates, most especially Lenny Robredo. And of course, one of the most prominent ones was you, di ba, Janno? Kasi doon ako talang, wow, okay, interesting yun. Nakita natin na overtly, I don't want to call it partisan, but overtly promoting a certain candidate and a certain vision of the country. How did you arrive at that decision? Kasama mo ba yung mga ibang artista kaibigan nyo na nagkaroon ng ganitong decision? Or was that spontaneous decision then you came together? Is this because you had an interaction with Lenny Robredo at medyo impressed kayo sa kanya and you felt you have to move forward? Or was it the aspect of another Marcos potentially coming back to power? I mean, what was your state of mind as you transition into becoming more overtly political, Sir Janno?
Yeah, it was personal for me. I wasn't in touch with I would see other celebrities'
Right.
posts, but that's about it. It was my
Yeah.
personal choice. Yeah, I think it was definitely it was because of the top spot. The Marcos family coming back into power. That's what struck me, actually.
Okay, speaking of this, I mean, some would say, lalong yung mga nasa abroad, di ba? They'll say that, yes, nakakagulat na isa pang Marcos ay nakabalik sa pwesto. Pero they would say, well, if you look at it, it's not like Duterte was not something out of the, you know what I'm saying? Beyond the pale, some would even say. I mean, if you look at the, human rights record, democracy record of President Duterte, at least by many standards, some would say it's as, revolting as that of the former strongman. So some people would say, okay, we understand back at 2022 kayo naging active because you were concerned with the return of the dynasties. Pero kamusta naman all that 5 to 6 years? Again, Jan, I don't want to be unfair here. I'm not trying to cast aspersions, etc. Please understand. I'm trying to play the devil's advocate here, and I want to give folks a chance. Na parang sinasabi ng tao, well, if first month pa lang ni Duterte, ito na yung concern sa extrajudicial killings. First year pa lang, ang daming concerns with disinformation, harassment of journalism and media. Why did it take until 2022? Again, sorry, I'm not trying to play game, but I really want to hear it from you folks. Ayoko magsalita na hindi ko nakuha yung panic niyo, no?
Your question is?
My question is, why
did it take
2022, not 2019 or 2016, when you had a Duterte presidency and everything that came with it, right?
Even during the Duterte presidency, I was posting criticisms as well, but not as much.
And you were more ilan-ilan lang kayo, di ba? I mean, kasi yun nga yung difference with 2022 is that medyo show force. We had celebrities.
Right.
While in the previous years, it's more like, pitik-pitik here and there, right? Which I appreciated. I mean, this is not about you, John, in particular. No, this is about your community that I'm talking about. So I just want to get your point of view as an insider. Of course, without saying negative about anyone specific. Yun lang, gusto ko lang malaman, wasn't the 5-6 years of Duterte enough to galvanize people? Did it take another Marcos Jr. to galvanize people? Parang yun lang gusto kong makuhang, perspective mo dyan.
Yeah. No, I think it's a combination. It's a combination of the Marcos family coming back and remnants of I think celebrities were waiting for Duterte to finish before they could speak freely, because a lot of hindi naman katakataka na we were all afraid of Duterte.
Yeah, the fear factor also, no? So there's job
course.
insecurity, and then there's a fear factor, right?
Yes.
No, I really appreciate this, John. Thank you for being honest about this, because I want to hear this also from the other side. Ayoko naman maging unfair. Now, so hindi kasing nakakatakot ang Marcoses compared to Duterte. Is that what you're saying?
So far, hindi.
So far, hindi.
So far, hindi.
So far, hindi. Now, going back to this, did you have inspiration in terms of, kasi alam natin sa ibang bansa, no? For instance, in the Czechoslovakia in the past, in the Prague Spring, in many revolutions, people power, not only in the Philippines but around the world, yung teatro, napakalaki yung role. Yung mga singers, di ba? Sa Latin America, for instance, Argentina, etc. Singers, creative people like you have had very, very influential role in inspiring and sometimes even spearheading, no? Political transformation in many countries similar to us, no? Whether in Eastern Europe, in Latin America, in Asia.
Right.
Is that something at the back of your head? Is that something that you have been, before pupunta tayo kay Zelensky, no? I mean, we'll get there, don't worry. Pero dito muna tayo. Okay. Do you have like some people that you look up to or you take inspiration from sa Pilipinas, abroad, in terms of, yun nga yung obligasyon nyo. I mean, you have the power and platform. You also have the sense of obligation and calling, right? Yeah.
Well, apparently, basing it on our Lenny campaign,
right?
Apparently, all of us were no match for Andrew E.
Sorry, man. I have to give it to Andrew.
He single-handedly. Single-handedly took on the whole campaign, and he's my friend, though.
Yeah. Why do you think Andrew was influential? I mean, ito Janno, I remember no election time. Lumalabas ako, naglalakad sa daan. Yung mga bata sa kalye, kinakanta nila yung kanta ni Andrew, di ba?
Yeah. No, that's...
Inday, Sara.
Yeah.
Bakit kayo panglaban ng gano'n?
No, that is his crowd. That's his crowd. What we were trying to play for, the audience we were trying to play for was his exact audience.
Right. Okay. I'm sure you're having many interesting conversation with Andrew. Okay, it's quite nagte-trending parati yan sa Twitter ngayon si Andrew. Parang second national anthem na ngayon, no, yung kanta ni Andrew.
Yeah.
Pilipinas. Going back to this, of course, I mean, I don't want to, you to divulge confidential matters, but can you tell us a little bit more about working with Lenny? What was with Lenny that attracted you as a political candidate, as a leader, no? Ano yung nagustuhan mo kay Lenny? At after that, of course, we'll talk about what's your assessment of the campaign, etc. But can we talk about Lenny? How did you get, become so supportive of Lenny? Ano meron sa kanya?
My first post actually was after the debate, their first debates, which was that CNN, no?
Wait, pa to?
No. The first one, CNN, I think.
Was it CNN? Wait lang, we'll get back to it. Yeah.
Anyway, so I posted about that.
Kasi the CNN was combined with with ABS-CBN. Remember, it's Rico Hizon and Aaron Davila. I think that was the second one. na hindi siya face to face. Yeah. But let's please go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, I posted. I congratulated 3 people for doing well in the elections. First was Ping, and to be honest, Ping was my first choice.
Right.
Lacson was my first choice for president
Because
I thought he's the most qualified to qualifications wise. Yeah, but and then I said, but Lenny is inspirational.
Right.
So nandun yung difference eh. I was in touch with Ping actually. We were exchanging messages. And then finally, when I decided, out of respect, I messaged Senator Lacson na, "Sir, sorry, I'm gonna come out with Lenny na."
Yeah.
Out of respect then.
Did you feel you even had to come out and endorse
I
anyone?
think so. Endorse? Yeah.
I mean, you could have just not endorse anyone and just generally support their campaign, right? I mean, you could have done that. I think many people do. What made you feel na you have to come out and kumbaga tataya ka dito eh? Kasi syempre that exposes you, di ba? Once goal. That was a brave choice, I would say, right?
It's both sides. One is because of the Marcoses nga. And 2, I saw a leader that could win this, and a worthy leader at that.
Yeah. And what was your impression of Lenny when she was the vice president before she ran for the presidency, and then her decision to run for the presidency? Were there areas that particularly impressed you? Were there areas na medyo alanganin ka? Let's see. Were there areas whereby inalanganin ka and then naayos na later? Can you tell us also about that?
Yeah. We all know she did very well as the vice president. She medyo may di ba? Medyo hinaharang siya ni Duterte sa position. But it was a big thing that COA always ina-award nila yung ano lagi.
Because of her yung pag in-audit sila, in terms of their transparency.
Pag in-audit sila, the most transparent branch ng government. Yeah.
And
so that was it. Hesitancy. I didn't know if she was if she had the fight in her.
Right.
So when I saw na she had the fight in her, yun na. That's when I decided to go on board.
And your family and everyone was okay with that, if I may ask, for you to go so politically open in such a polarized and charged election?
Not all. Some were supportive, some were scared for me.
Yeah, yun nga. I can imagine.
Yeah.
And so once you went openly and endorsed Lenny, what was the reaction? I mean, did all the bashers and haters suddenly come? Did a lot of support come in? I mean, how was that transition? Kasi ito na, all in ka na, nakataya ka na, di ba?
Yeah, all in na, yeah. Both sides, they came in, they rushed in both sides equally.
But so biglang did you regret suddenly your decision or ano ba?
No.
Ko na to.
Yeah. No, I was enjoying myself campaigning for Lenny. I did a few stages lang naman eh. I appeared in like 3, I think. Most was on social media.
Right. And did you attend her grand rallies, which caught a lot of attention all around the world? No, yung mga grand rallies in Lenny na hundreds of
Yeah,
thousands.
I was in Pasay. So that
The
was
Pasay
one
one.
of the biggest. Yeah.
Yes, yes. How did you feel when you were attending those grand rallies? Did you give a sense like, baka naman, pwede na yata to? Or like, wow, this is what you didn't expect?
Yeah. You know what? If you were there, goosebumps.
Right.
You felt like we're gonna win. Yun ang ano talaga eh. Parang
Right.
winner na talaga eh. Ganun ang feeling.
Yeah. Well, again, just to be clear, I attended both meeting the advances of Marcos and
Yeah.
including
Yeah.
kay Andrew, inaabutan ko rin yung sa kabila. I can see the energy and all, no? But I
Yeah.
could also understand bakit yung sense of confidence was there, no? Kasi ang dami ring nagpakita yung wave of
Right.
etc. But Janno, I mean, you isa kang artista, so meron kang pulso ng masa, no? I mean, you have your finger on the pulse of the people.
Yeah.
Did you have a concern na medyo, I don't want to use the word elitista, but much more narrow yung base ng excitement ni Lenny compared sa kabila? Kasi ako, yun ang napansin ko eh. Ang daming, mas masa-oriented, including Andrew is of course.
Yeah.
While medyo more middle class-ish yung kay Lenny in terms of overall messaging. Not entirety, but the main focus was more middle class-ish. Medyo mas pa English, medyo mas pa, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Highfalutin, abstract ideals. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Yeah.
I read this review. I won't say na who wrote it, but
Please go ahead. Yeah.
I read this review, which I agree with. Yun nga, parang medyo kulang pa, masyado pang hindi naman elitist, but medyo hindi nahi-hit yung CD market.
Right. Yeah.
And well, late na na-realize nung camp na what I get from people is they didn't like the house to house. I want to teach. What's the phrase? Let me educate you. They didn't like that. They didn't like that.
Lecturing people, mga ganon.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, to be fair, some were saying that the picture is much more complicated on the ground. Pero minsan parang ang dating is nag-house to house yung volunteers and then minsan like sino pong binoboto nyo? And alam natin yung mga ating kababayan minsan hindi komportable, di ba? Parang yung tipong sino binoboto? Baka naman mali yung binoboto mo pagsabi. So as much as we should appreciate yung house to house, the manner also matters. It's not only going there, it's also how you approach yung ating mga kababayan who may not necessarily share our points of view on where the country should go, right? Yeah.
Right.
Janno, were there again, I know, but kasi ganito John, I really want to have a like in-depth post-mortem on what went right and what went wrong with different campaigns, no? Of course, I've written extensively on what went right with the Marcos Jr. campaign and also some of the strengths of the Lenny campaign. At the same time, of course, medyo kapos sila on certain fronts. What's their consultation with you guys, yung mga artista, prominent figures like you, for instance, in terms of the messaging, how to move forward? Because, John, to be honest, like some of us from the outside were looking in and minsan parang medyo confused. May pagka San Goku and then medyo seryoso.
Yeah.
Like parang I'm not sure who's running the show Medyo magulo siya no? So again, I'm not saying this to be disparaging and all. I'm just trying to be as objective as possible. Kasi election is a competition. You have to do it properly, right? So medyo parang nagugulan kami, ano gusto mo maging Kenkoy or gusto mo maging. And kung gusto mo maging Kenkoy, alam mo Johnny, comedian ka, di ba? I also try to be Kenkoy sometimes and I kind of pull it off because it has come naturally. Hindi they tell you how to be Kenkoy. It has to come from you yung pagka-Kenkoy. Otherwise,
true.
Yan authentic dapat
Yeah, that was I think that was the biggest problem of Lenny's campaign.
Right.
The message wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
Diba? They tried different stuff
as
against well, I of course we understand because medyo desperate measures because malakas yung kalaban. as against BBM's messaging, it was from the start. It was the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
It
sila
was consistent.
Mr. Soriano and Alex Gonzaga, etc.
Yeah.
How is your interaction with them? If I can maritas a little bit, sorry about that. You guys are all, I mean, do you interact, converse with sila Alex Gonzaga, with sila Paul Soriano? I mean, how is it?
No, not really.
Mm.
I'm not close to them. I'm not in their network, so I don't get to socialize with them.
But you're open to converse with them or discuss with them?
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. I have other friends. Like Andrew E is my friend.
He's everyone's friend now, no? Andrew is
Yeah.
kuya ng bayan. Yeah.
No, but in fairness to Andrew,
Yes.
in fairness to Andrew, he has been with Sarah even
Yes.
before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't question his loyalty.
Yeah. It's really a loyalty thing. It's not mercenary.
Yeah.
I understand what you're trying to say there.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate that. Now, how did you feel during the election day and then the days after? Because, John, I'll be a little bit honest about it. Pansin ko with some supporters, almost may PTSD sila. I mean, there were people, I was still hyper, even after elections. Go lang.
Yeah.
I was giving talks in companies, corporations, going around on TV, etc. I mean, I was getting these stories that people are resigning, some people are not coming to work anymore, yung iba talagang depressed, yung iba nagpapalpitation, nagigising sa gabi, etc. Considering how invested you are in the elections, how did you cope with it? Were you meeting other artistas? Nag-usap kayo? Meron ba kayong election anonymous, to get over
yeah,
the...
we
AA election. It's like, yeah.
No, we had a group. We had a group chat. Yun nga. Ako naman personally hindi naman I mean, when it's over, it's over. When the elections are over, there's nothing you can do about it. I felt bad for a while. I even posted this. There was this post of mine that really got the bashers fired up.
Which one was it? Can you point at?
Ano kasi, lahat sinasabi, move on na kayo, mag-move on na kayo.
Right.
So I said, sabi ko, why? You're telling us to move on, sabi ko, so quickly. Sabi ko, when BBM lost the VP race, sabi ko, did you move on right away? Sabi ko, no. Sabi ko, you protested and 3 times, diba? 3 times yata siya nagpa-recount, diba?
Natalo all those times. Yun nga parang napaka-selective naman sabi nila.
So sabi ko, so if you were in our shoes, you'd be bitter also. Sabi ko, so let us grieve for a while. Yun yung post ko. Nako, nagalit na lahat ng bashers.
but I mean, come on. I mean, what is your philosophy on these bashers and haters? Ako, it took me some time, but eventually realized, well, I mean, first of all, we have to be happy in a way that people are invested in politics in ways that they were not in the past. No? Kasi, yun ang pansin ko dati. I mean, we're an entertainment-oriented country. Pero pagdating sa politika, medyo passive tayo, no? Medyo hindi tayo ganun ka-involved. But I'm glad that people are getting involved. The other thing is, I'm sure Johnny also got that. They bash you and then suddenly they message you behind you. Sir, actually fan ako, ganun.
Yeah, I do get that.
I do get that too, right? Exactly. Mga secret fans na konting nagdrama lang.
Yeah.
Diba? Yeah, and of course, you get a lot of new supporters, a lot of new friends, new followers. I mean, we got to know each other more and discuss in light of that event. Ako, for me, as someone who does political education, and teaches university and all, for me, I'm glad na finally umaangat tayo. At the same time, of course, I want to also get your point of view on this, Janno, is, to be honest, nung una, medyo nag-enter ako ng journalism. Akala ko siguro, pa-cute ka lang doon, medyo you say some nice stuff, English. Everyone loves you. But once the bashing and all starts, parang, wait lang, hindi ako ready for this, diba? And also, I was surprised kasi, alam mo, tayo mga Pilipino, hindi naman ako nagiging but we're very kind people. We're very nice people.
Right.
Compared
Right.
sa yung mga ibang bansa, I don't want to name names. Don't good luck talaga sa'yo kung nag-political statement ka. You will get all sorts of horrible response. But a part of me was like surprised. Like, where is this anger and hatred coming from? Kasi hindi ito yung Pilipinas na kilala ko eh. Hindi ako lumaki sa itong bansa eh. Did you also have that moment of like parang, wait, ano to? Diba? And like disappointment and fear and concern. Kasi lalong ikaw, di ba? Kayo mga celebrities, you've been getting all the love and support throughout the years. I'm not saying na spoiled kayo, but that's the Philippines you see, di ba? This loving, supporting, kind, smiling. Then now you suddenly see this angry, aggressive, hating. How do you reconcile that? How do you understand that, Janno?
I think it's been cultivating for quite some time. Especially during Duterte's time.
Right.
Parang doon nag-start eh. Because of him also, he's very,
combative.
He doesn't mince words.
Right,
diba?
right.
So, naging gano'n na yung culture natin na ano na tayo, what's the word? Na desensitize na tayo sa ano. Parang sabi nung masses, pwede palang magmura, tsaka pwede palang magmura. Okay lang pala. Ganon. That's how I feel. No?
As long as you don't agree with... So, kumbaga na he green-lighted it. He parang normalized that process, no?
Yeah,
of
I think so.
Language, etc. Now,
plus of course,
please.
Plus of course, people are have more courage hiding under anonymous profiles.
Right. So the internet anonymity, no, yung avatar minsan. But some of them are people who say it under their own name, no? Andun yung pamilya nila lahat, mukhang legit ng account. No? And you get shocked because they seem to be very nice people, and then they say these horrible things, di ba? Na parang, oh my goodness.
Pinapost ko nga yan eh. Pinapost ko sa story ko. So I post the bash first na Janno, laos ka na, ganon. And then ipopost ko yung profile nakalagay doon. God loves us. Be compassionate and gano'n. Sabi ko, hipokrita. Sabi ko, hipokrita.
Yeah, that's the point. No? Kaya for me, minsan na-hurt ako about that. But kasi, John, I want to also understand where people are coming from. Kasi, John, you have a privileged background, right? A lot of us have, had many privileges in our country. But ang katotohanan is, life hasn't improved much for majority of Filipinos, diba? I mean, you can see that dami natin pinapalabas. I mean, dami natin OFWs pa rin, not because they want to go abroad, but because of this desperate situation. Dito sa inequality. Yeah, how do you understand that? I think from that,
I think that's the sad part. That they don't realize that we're still in the same situation, maybe worse, maybe even worse. That's the sad part. It's not more of who's in power or whoever is in power. It's the people not realizing that we're not doing well as a country.
At saka yung siguro yung pag-intindi dun sa ugat ng mga problema. I mean, if boto ka ng boto sa trapo, diba? Talaga magbabago ng bansa. Now, John, let me ask you another more personal question. I mean, we have had people who said, mag-migrate na lang kami. Or, I had many parents coming to me, you're a parent yourself, and coming to me and said, should I send my children abroad? Should they study in America or Australia, etc.? And of course, I would always say, well, good for you. If you have that option, then it's your choice. Who am I to say no? But ikaw, I mean, did that cross your mind? Migrating, having your entire family relocated abroad? If you had even younger kids, would you have asked them to study somewhere else? Like, I mean, for me, kasi as much as I understand it, nalulungkot din ako when I hear that from people na, parang we don't get the election result we want, then we move out. But again, I want to understand. Siyempre, lalo kung may pamilya ka, you want the best for them. Ikaw, John, did that cross your mind? Mag-migrate na lang kami dito.
Yeah, it's been mentioned in when we, because my kids are big enough to talk about
Yeah,
politics.
exactly.
They're adults now. It's crossed our minds, but very fleeting lang. Ano naman eh, right away when BBM won, um, mindset ka agad eh na he's the leader now. Let's just hope for the best. Which I posted also.
Yeah, of course.
Kasi hindi we bottom line is we weren't actually against BBM per
Right.
se, the person. We were against the idea of
Right.
the
What he
family.
represented. Yeah, yeah. Right.
Yeah, what he represented. Yeah, but BBM personally is not uh, uh, the target.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, many would say that so far, his presidency has turned out much more moderate, gradual, and some would even say
Yeah.
inclusive, right? I mean, hindi siya nagmumura sa ibang bansa, sa mga tao.
Mm,
We don't see extrajudicial killings getting worse. In fact, there's a
yeah.
recalibration ng drug war. On foreign
Mm.
policy, wala na yung mga I love Putin, I love China, yung mga ganon. So, I mean, again, you can say it's still too early, but some people would say it's not turning out as scary as many people thought, right? Or the supporters of the other side thought.
Yeah.
Is that also your sense, Janno? I mean, how are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Feel
I'm
vibes na?
because I think the sense that we wanted to give, I think I posted about it, was we all hope
Right.
that he proves us wrong.
Yeah. That was
Which yeah, so which so far, but it's too early, but so far he's been doing.
right. Yeah. And Janno, going back to this, you have tried satire, no? Political satire, playing
Yeah.
the role of the president. And I think this is what we really want to talk about. Why do you think satire is so important? And how did you arrive at the decision of making this satire? So tingin nyo ba this is the best way to get the message out? A kind of more satirical, sarcastic approach that hindi makaka-capture ng normal drama, arts, etc. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And also yung ginagawa yung satire show, kung saan presidente po kayo. Can you tell me more about that? And our audience.
Yeah, I think
Nakita ko yan eh, di ba?
yeah,
It's on YouTube, right? You can find it, yeah.
I think comedy
Right.
comedy in general is a very effective way of getting your message across because it's softer. It's a softer approach. Hindi mo alam, natatawa ka na, pero hindi mo alam merong underlying message. Which you get. Yeah. Yeah.
And can you tell me more about your show? I mean, how did it start? Where do you think it's going? Do you want to do more sequels, etc.? And mahalaga yan because we have a case in Ukraine, right? President Zelensky, who actually used leverage, let's say, his comedy show whereby he was the president to actually run for the presidency and quite successfully. Now he's seen as the Churchill of the 21st century, at least that's what his partisans would say. Did you watch yung show ni Zelensky? Were you inspired by that? And in what ways do you find parallels between what you're doing and Zelensky? Without saying anything more.
No, I learned about Zelensky's being a comedian late na eh. I haven't seen his show actually.
The Netflix yan.
So
yeah.
I haven't seen it. When my predecessor prior to this was Leo Martinez.
Right. Yes, of course. Yeah.
He did the same things before as a congressman.
Right.
Congressman Manik Manaog. What we're doing is we're presenting the negative aspects of the characteristics of a politician.
Yeah.
Yeah. in a comedic way, parang this is the message is this is what you don't vote for.
Yeah.
Ganon.
But John, let me push you a little bit on that. It's not like hindi alam ng ating kababayan na talaga yung mga trapo na yan ay nagbibigay ng kung ano-anong kalokohan, di ba? I mean, kung ano-anong problema sa bansa, di ba?
Yeah.
So in what way do you think the satire will be even more helpful? And of course, satire is very important kasi nakita natin sa America no, in the time of Trump. You know, this was a golden age for satire, di ba? The same in the UK in the time of Boris Johnson. Sa panahon ni Duterte, ang isang napansin ko is wala tayong nanggagaya kay Duterte. Di ba? Meron tayong kay Ate Chloe. You know, we had all of those things.
Yeah.
Parang walang nanggaya kay Duterte. Is it because natatakot sila or sabi nga nung iba na, I mean, Duterte so much makes fun of himself. It's hard to make a satire out of him. Di ba? Like, it's not like you give him much of a room. Kasi unahin ka niya. Ano sasabihin mo sa akin, di ba? But Cuomo Marcos would be quite different, right? Because he's your more traditional statesman, right? So probably there's more room for satire in ways that was not the case for Duterte. Ikaw, anong take mo as an artist? I'm saying that as a writer, but ikaw as an artist, how do you look at that? The satire craft in the Philippines and anong future ng satire in the Philippines?
I think it plays a big role. I think we need more of it. Hindi pwedeng konti lang ang gumagawa eh. Kailangan mas marami pa eh. Yun lang, we need more of it. It's a very effective tool in any field actually.
Correct.
Not just politics.
Yeah, kasi it psychological, no? It relaxes you down, so makes you more amenable and receptive to a good message, di ba? Kasi kung aggressive ka kagad, kayo, yung parang let me educate you style, hindi talaga siya mag-work. The other side will also go into defensive mode, di ba? Fight mode, di ba? But if you go into satire, parang minamasahe mo, nirelax mo, then you get the message.
Right.
And hindi ko naman sinasabi na niluluto ka sa sariling mantika, but at least, you know, you'll be like, you know what? May point naman siya, di ba? That's what I saw in the US. It really works in many ways. Pero sa Pilipinas, parang, you know, kulang. I think you, Lord De Vera, Leo, among others, have been doing that. I mean, I do it in my own ways, in my own style. But I think something we have to push. Maybe we can collaborate down the road doing our own, you know, kind of satire. No, I look forward to that. But I really appreciate it. Now, can you tell us more about your show? And then what's the next plan? Dito sa show na kayo po ay isang presidente, etc. I saw part of it on YouTube. I really encourage you guys to watch it. It's quite funny. And it's witty. Yung wittiness kasi maraming comedians pero parang medyo bastos na, di ba? Pero ito witty.
Yeah.
Ayoko yung bastos eh. Alam mo yung parang anyone can be bastos. Pero yung witty, kailangan mo talaga ng skills yan eh. Talagang yung etc. Can you tell us more about John? Please flag your show and tell us about you know, your show and all. Yeah.
I think the biggest one that came out was yung with me and Leo together.
Right. Nakita ko.
It was of course shadowing BBM, but I was what's this? I was talking about myself.
Right.
Diba na sabi ko kay Leo, why don't you guys promote my achievements naman? Sabi ni Leo, wala ka namang achievements eh. You know, things like that.
Yeah, I saw that part. That was
so but I was talking about myself.
Yeah.
And I would cite examples, ganon. Sabi ko, my dad has won many awards, sabi ko. Sabi niya, sabi ni Leo, that's your dad. What about you? Do you have awards? None. So I was talking about myself, but we all know that.
Exactly. That was a very subtle way of doing it. Yeah.
To be honest, that I wrote that myself. No, I wrote that myself. That was an answer to because I didn't like the Len series that
right.
That Direct Daryl did. That Direct Daryl, FYI lang, is a friend of mine.
Yeah, let's get to that shortly. Yeah.
Walang ano, I think he's hindi naman, he doesn't take it personally.
Yeah.
He always says, don't get mad at me, do your own content. That's what he says. So that's what I did. I didn't like what he did to Lenny in his parody. So that was my answer.
Right. Come back
to that. Yeah.
Right. Now, going back to, let's talk about Daryl Yap and did you watch yung MIM at saka Katips? And if you have watched them, what are your general impressions?
I have not. My dad has watched it. He said it's a nice film, and I don't doubt it because Daryl is a brilliant director. I don't doubt that it was well made. Honestly, I feel that everybody has a right to produce their own movie, and everybody has the right to come out with their own story. There's nothing illegal about that. There's nothing wrong about that. You can, just like in social media, what we always say, if you don't like what I post, then unfollow me, or go to other artistas. In the same manner, if you don't like the movie, don't go and see it. Parang ganon.
So parang freedom of expression to. Is that how?
Yeah. It's part of freedom of expression. With regards to yung revisionism that they're saying.
Yes, please. Yes.
I have yet to see it.
Right.
But
do you plan to, Janno?
Of course. I'm waiting for it to go online. It's gonna go in Viva Max, I'm sure.
Right.
Which is our home
of course. Yeah.
Platform. I'd like to see it. So far parang wala namang masyadong I knew they would play on people's heartstrings.
Yeah.
With kasi if you think about it, in that situation, nakakalungkot talaga for the Marcoses.
Yung final 72 hours nila.
Of course.
They went from hero to zero. Yeah.
Yeah. No matter what the reasons are, it definitely will be sad for them to leave Malacanang.
Right. Yeah. So I suggest maybe I will get back to you once you have watched this. What about Katips? Have you tried to research about it or check it out or something like that? Kasi yun ang tinapat eh.
Yeah. I've heard negative reviews about it. I haven't seen it though, but I've heard negative reviews about it. Baka hindi yun ang dapat tinapat.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness naman kay Director Tanyada, parang tiniming lang talaga na nila yun eh.
Yeah.
Especially for last year. So in fairness to him, he's not even, trying to pretend otherwise. But Direct Lamangan, I think, among others, have suggested that they will come up with their riposte or comeback version dito sa MIM. What do you think about that? And are you open in some ways to collaborate with all sorts of different projects? Kasi, syempre, John, I mean, yes, I mean, sorry for the Romanovs in their last moments that they're no longer the czars of Russia, right? But in the meantime, ang daming kalokohan nangyari sa bansa, di ba? So maybe the people who suffered, not for 72 hours, but suffered for 21 years or 15 years, 10 years, they also need to have their side of the story told. And
right.
Nandito pa rin. I had professors in UP, I had friends, etc., who were still among us. They were tortured. Some were sexually tortured. Martial law. They're among us. This is not a story. They're flesh and blood. I see them. And sa akin, parang, okay, siguro nakakaawa na yung 2,000 shoes nila, hindi na maging 2,000, maging 200 na lang. But what about the other people who lost their dignity, their psychological well-being, etc.? So I know, I mean, if you want to talk about emotional, humanitarian, heartstring, whatever, right? then maybe our sympathy is misplaced, no? As much as we have to put
Yeah.
it in perspective.
Sadly,
Uh-huh.
I think at least in the present,
Right.
I think people are beyond reason eh. Beyond reason na eh.
Meron ng
Yeah, nakaano na
cemented
eh. I mean, I've posted I've posted yung footages of yung cases nila abroad.
Yeah.
I've posted proof of legit proof of the cases and stuff. Wala eh. It doesn't.
Yeah.
They refuse to believe it eh.
Right.
So I don't think anything we put out now is gonna make a difference.
It should have been done maybe earlier. And I mean, do you
Yeah.
think there was complacency? Kasi ang tagal na yan eh. Alam mo yung mga parang Yellow Monkey, something like yung channel sa YouTube, tagal na yan eh. More than 10 years na yan. Andun pa rin like, you know, denigrating the Aquinos, painting this golden image of the past, etc.
Yeah.
Nothing was done about it. Walang pumansin nun eh. Ngayon lang lumalabas lahat to eh, di ba?
Yeah. Also, Duterte even elevated it.
Yeah.
I think that was the turning point. Yung from allowing Marcos to be buried in
libingan
ng mga bayani, and openly saying that Marcos was his idol, and you know, stuff like that. I think that elevated the
Yeah, although to be fair to President Duterte, he said Marcos was the best president except he became dictator. So interestingly, Duterte, and in fairness to Duterte, he stepped down after 6 years in power. Although we can have a debate about does that make him less authoritarian, etc. But going back to this, and siguro
just to butt, sorry to butt in, no.
Please go ahead.
But I actually was we actually voted for Duterte.
Yun! Now
talaga.
Can you tell me about that? Why did you vote for Duterte? And how did you feel about it later on?
Because I believed in what he was saying in the campaigns.
Right. Did you
especially in the early parts? No, I did not. But I saw I was with Ogie. He was rooting for someone else. I was rooting for Duterte while watching the debates.
Interesting.
So yun.
Interesting. Oh, so you voted for Duterte, and then you were kind of okay with Ping Lacson, but eventually you settled for Lenny, right? So now I'm just trying to understand. Is it because you felt Lacson and Duterte were kind of disciplinarian, parang ganito, kasi wala tayong is that the state of mind? That parang pag sila ang presidente, may disiplina, may, I don't know, kamay na bakal, yung mga pasaway, hindi na sila mang, ano.
The
thinking? Yeah, just
in Duterte's case, aside from the iron hand, bakal na kamay, the charm was there, you know.
Right.
Diba?
Niloloko siya, nagpapatawa.
He's witty, and that appealed to me. Parang sabi ko, ang sarap maging president nito. He was I mean, he was a strong man pero with charm, diba?
So may soft touch siya in that sense, which appealed to your sensibilities, let's just put it that way. So how did you feel about it after all? You know, so 3 years after, 6 years after, were you surprised at how things turned out? Were you not surprised? So as an
surprised
supporter, like confessions of a Duterte. Sorry to put you on the no. You asked for it. Gusto mo yan. Inamin mo eh. So let's go. Just to be clear, Janno, Ilocanong family ko, no? So a lot of them, not immediate, a lot of them voted for Marcos and Duterte. And, we have these conversations and over in a relaxed way. So don't worry, I'm not judging you.
No.
Yeah, please.
No, I was surprised with yung mga a lot of his bad decisions.
Right.
He still made a lot of good. I still believe him. He made a lot of good. But sadly, I think the negative overweighed the positive that he did.
What went wrong sa tingin mo dyan? As bilang isang mamamayan na bumoto kay Duterte, umasa
I have one particular thing that I didn't like, yung selective justice.
Right.
I loved it when he would curse at something at wrongdoings.
Yeah, ng mga malalaking tao, ganun. Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. I loved that part. But I wish he would do that even with his men.
Yeah.
Diba? Which he didn't.
And yung mga, di ba, attack sa mga oligarchs, but may sarili siyang Duterte-garchs, di ba? May biglang we know who these people are, di ba? So, that questions the sincerity, di ba? I'm sure nakaka-display yun. What about yung mga, isa kang, you're a father yourself, you're a family man. What about the cussing, the misogynist jokes, etc.? Wasn't that revolting to you as a family man, as someone who comes from a very decent, good family? Or parang arte lang niya yan. Ay, arte lang yan, huwag niyong pansinin. Was that your
No, we're a liberal family. My dad kind of talks like that. I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yung mura, I have no problem with the cussing, with the cursing, because even I do that. But it's the context.
Right.
It's the context. If I say, can I curse here? Okay lang naman. Okay lang naman.
Okay lang naman.
I mean, I would normally say, putang ina, ang ganda nung Avengers, 'di ba?
Yung ganun, parang point of emphasis, parang ganun.
That's normal to me.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
My dad is like that. I'm like that. But if you curse at the Pope, medyo iba na 'yon. Ibang hindi na 'yon natural. Hindi na conversational 'yon.
And not to mention, syempre, yung sa kanya, yung plataforma ng presidente, iba yung nagmumura ka sa, kayo lang sa pamilya, di ba? Because it's the embodiment of the state power and dignity, right? Yun yung, role ng presidente. Now,
but that was part of why I voted for him.
Right.
Yung hindi siya kasing statesman ng iba.
Right.
That was part of the charm. So I had no problem with the cussing. It's just the context of some of his statements.
And the fact na hindi siya kasing consistent doon sa kanyang polisiya at application of justice niya, yung version of justice niya. This oligarch, but yung sa kabila ganyan, attacking this person, para nare-recycle yung ibang kurakot or questionable officials, etc. What's your sense? Is it because Tatay Digong was perhaps past his peak time? Was it because perhaps, as one former president told me, pang mayor lang talaga yan, hindi niya kayang nationwide? Ano hypothesis mo? Anong teorya mo dyan? Why Duterte was not able to implement his best aspirations and vision for the country? Because I'm giving him the benefit of doubt na he has a good vision for the country. But obviously, hindi na-execute yun. They can tell me his 100% approval rating, whatever. They can say, doesn't matter to me. The facts are facts. Diba? Talaga may pagkakulang.
Right. Uh, I don't think he was pang mayor lang,
Mhm.
mayor material lang. I think he had a really big chance of he could have been one of our best presidents
Presidents.
actually.
Yeah.
Because I think kasama na rin yung age maybe.
Parang feeling ko medyo
Uh,
siya eh. Yeah.
because I watch a lot of his interviews.
Nung bata pa.
Some
Yeah.
no, ito na yung president na siya.
Yeah.
A lot of them were incoherent, di ba?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
there are sparks of when he's
Switched on. Yeah.
yeah, when he's on, he's very intelligent and he's very eloquent. When he can be eloquent, he can be intellectual. Yun lang, may
Pero
mga moments siguro.
Yeah. Medyo past his
Yeah,
peak
I think
na,
so.
Yeah. Kasi nung you go to Davao, you gather stories nung 50s pa siya, no? Or mas bata. Sorry. He was an extremely active guy. He was all over the place, very articulate. These things that our journalist friends in Davao was telling us, including those who are critical of him. So I understand where you're coming from. Now, on the last point, so we have a situation like Robin Hood Padilla topping the Senate race. As someone who has no relevant background whatsoever, national politics, right? Now, you can say whatever you want in his favor. Like Andrew E. very loyal siya kay Sara Duterte through and through. I think that's a big factor why he topped the race. Although we were expecting Tulfo to do it. You think celebrities should enter politics? You think there should be a contra Robin Hood version? If Robin Hood is the other side, then maybe, I don't know, you or maybe Angel Locsin or others on the other side should run. What do you think about that?
Ako, as I've been watching Robin, as long as what was I gonna say? As long as the intention is as long as the good intentions are there. I think he means well. I think Robin means well. I don't know if he has everything that a senator needs, but at least the good intentions are there.
Yeah. I mean, of course, then you could say, is good intention enough, diba? I mean, it's a question of capacity. It's a question
definitely it's not. Definitely,
especially if you're going to oversee constitutional amendments, some very sensitive technical issues. But do you think other artistas should also enter politics from the other side, instead of just supporting a political candidate? You yourself get into the ring.
Yeah, people have to understand that ang daming artistang tumakbo itong last elections for councilors and governors and stuff. People have to understand that artistas gravitate towards politics because we nasa ground kami. We interact a lot with the people, lalo na the lowest of the lowest, no? We shoot in mga squatters areas.
Yes,
Nagsushoot kami doon, so we know their plight. We sympathize with them. So yun, you have to understand that that's why we gravitate towards we want to help. We want to help.
And do you think overall it has been a good thing na yung mga celebrities have been more active in politics, in public service? Or you think it's good but there could be areas improvement, more preparation, more... Anong take mo dyan? Because we have many good cases. For instance, Vilma Santos, diba? I mean, and in the case of Vilma Santos, she did courses in UP, among others, so that prepared her to be the kind of effective leader she has. But we also have a lot of cases of people scratch their head and say, andyan lang yan kasi sikat yan. And we know komplikado yung problema natin sa bayan. pag governance, you really have to have, talagang gamay mo dapat yung
Yeah.
detalye ng problema.
Yeah, I think
Okay, dyan.
I think in all positions, I think for COMELEC ito, I think we should have stricter qualifications. Sabi ko nga, ang security guard, mas marami pang qualifications na kailangan.
Janitors, di ba? I mean, people,
Yeah.
college graduate pa nga dun sa iba, sales lady, etc. Di ba? Yun nga.
So senators should have, dapat kasama sa requirement, law degree talaga.
And Janno, maybe the last question, I medyo tumagal tayo. Would you be interested in joining politics at some point? Is this something that has crossed your mind? Do you think the Philippines is ready for someone like Janno Gibbs? I don't know whether President Janno Gibbs, Vice President, Senator, whatever. I mean, you're seeing a lot of people entering their quite successful. I won't be surprised si Andrew baka sumabay na kay Robin, di ba yung dalawa silang police? But they might pull that off in 3 years, di ba? Andrew might win. So ikaw, na nakaupo kayo, hindi mo sa alam mo, pwede rin ako eh, di ba? I mean, does that also cross your mind? Should we be prepared for a Janno Gibbs campaign at some point? Ito na.
Ito, marami natatawa.
Go lang.
Marami natatawa sa akin. But I want to expect me to run at some point
in the near future. Ayan.
In the near future.
Now we have it official, no? We have official. Wala nang bawian to, no? So Janno Gibbs, King of Soul, di ba? One of our leading satires and comedians, and of course a great artist and actor, has expressed his commitment and interest in being a public servant in the near future. So abangan natin yan. Thank you very much, Janno. Really, really appreciate you joining us. Alam ko medyo tumagal. We were hoping 30 minutes lang, pero alam ko nag-warm up ka rin eh. Para sa tayo. Ako medyo, sige, warm up natin. And I think especially towards the latter third of the conversation, talagang uminit siya. And parang may pagka-politiko ka rin, no? Napansin ko wala kang nilaglag eh. Very careful. Mahusay.
Of course.
Mahusay ka, Janno. Mahusay. I was impressed. Kung ako yung parang, if I'm gonna assess, pwede to, politiko. In a good way. Diplomatic. In a good way. Thank you very much, Janno. Is there something you want to plug in for our audience to watch? Your show, not to mention, of course, abangan your campaign at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
You want to plug in, Janno?
I have a movie coming out maybe October. It's a nice film. It's directed by Sian Lim, who is an actor also.
Of course. Oh wow, he's a director now. Wow.
Yeah, he's been directing small stuff, but this is his first big one. So Hello Universe.
Yeah. Kala ko Hello Love Goodbye. Pero okay.
Hello Universe.
Hello Universe. Is it a love story, romantic comedy? What's the genre?
It's a comedy, fantasy, drama.
Oh, so may fantasy kaya may universe.
Yeah, and may drama din. May drama.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Janno. Soon to
run. I just wanna say I'm in contact with you, and I came here because I'm also a fan of yours.
Oh, thank you very much, Sir Janno. I've been a fan for a long time, but I didn't want to age reveal here. I've been watching you for years, and let me just say how proud and happy I am to see people like you, prominent celebrities, real artists, na pinapakita niyo yung pagmamahal niyo sa bayan natin. Para sa akin, ganun yun. At the end of the day, partisanship comes and goes. Pero yung pagmamahal sa bayan, makikita mo yan, magkakaalaman talaga. So, Sir Janno, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we can continue this conversation, especially once you make the next big move and also with your next movie art. And I hope we can also collaborate in whichever capacity in coming months and years. After all, ito ay para sa ating bayan. Mahal natin lahat yan.
That's right.
Sir Janno, please continue to fight the good fight and be the amazing artist and person you are. Let's keep in touch. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Salamat. Maraming salamat. Thank you.